Hey Wild Code Rangers, today we're hitting the trail and the code. I'm going to show you how to build a reusable service program in modern RPGLE. We're creating a trail distance calculator because whether you're tracking hiking routes or Bigfoot migration patterns, you need accurate GPS math. By the end, you'll have code you can use in any program. So in the same way that we were able to take a source table and create a source member, hello.rpgle, and then we created a module from the source and then created a program from that module. We'll be doing something similar to that when we create our service program, only this will be code almost like a microservice that we will be able to use in multiple program objects. You can see through this diagram that much of it is going to be the same, where we are creating a source off of our source file, and then the source is going to have no main procedure, but we'll be doing similar things by creating a module from the source and then creating the service program from that module. Now the different part will be that we'll have a binding directory, which this will be used at the program's compile time, that when it puts in its prototypes for that procedure in the program that we're going to be using that service, the binding directory will point to that service program procedure. So the first source we're going to look at is the source for the service program. Now it has all free at the top, just like all the modern RPGLE programs have. The control option is no main for the service program, so that tells the compiler that this has no main procedure that will be called. When you call this service program, you'll call the procedures individually. And the procedure we're going to create and be called from our program will be the calculate trail distance procedure. You're going to see that we do create prototypes of different. We're using prototypes from other services, and then we're going to be building our own service, which is this calculate trail distance. We use export to export that procedure so that other programs can use it, and then we have in all these variables of the start Latin long and the end Latin long, and we'll be using those values to calculate our trail distance, and this will work for anywhere in the planet Earth. So we go through our math process, and then we go through our calculations, and then we output the distance on the Earth in miles. Then we're going to take a look at the program that'll be using this service. That one's testtrail.rpgle. It again uses the ** free, but you'll see in the control options that there is no main. It has a main procedure. Although we do add the binding directory, which tells the compiler where to find the service program for the calculate trail distance prototype. Now once we have that defined in the program, that's the interface between the service program and this program, then we go through and we're going to have we'll put in some values from Bluff Creek, Fook, with the lat long for both of those. We'll do that calculation through the service program and return the distance, and then we output the distance into a display. Then we go through and do the same thing with a shorter distance, New York to Central Park, and show that distance again with the procedure return in miles. So now we want to take a look at what that looks like using debug. So the first thing we need to do is start debug on the test program. Once you put in the command F4 to prompt the command, make sure that the update protection is set to yes. That way any file changes happen will not break the program in debug. Then it'll bring up a view of the source. We'll put a breakpoint at the very beginning of the program. That way we pick it up right after it gets called. Now we just call the program and catch it at the breakpoint. There we are. Now we can step through the program. Here's where the calculations get sent to the service program. And then again for the New York to Central Park. Those all get put out into the job log. So then we just go to a display job log. And you'll see the outputs. You can see in the job log that we calculated the trail distance for the first trail. It's over 1,000 miles. And then we calculated the shorter trail, which was 3 miles. And it output it into the job log. So just to review one more time, we took the source table, RPGLE source, and we created a source member, the name of our service program, test trail dist, and we used the command CRTRPGMOD to create the module object, and then we used create service program command to take that module and create the service program object. Then when we put the prototype into the test trail program, the way that that program finds it when it goes to compile is through the binding directory. And so in the we create a binding directory called trail service, and then we add that service program to that binding directory so that the program, when it compiles, can find that service procedure when it compiles. So our key points are reusability. I can now use this in my trail logger, my sighting database, my expedition planner, anywhere I need GPS math. There's also maintainability. If I find a better formula or fix a bug, I can change it once and recompile. Every program gets the update. Then there's the modern development. This is how professional RPGLE development works in 2026. Modular, maintainable, professional. Building blocks. Now I'm able to add more services and start building on the real system. So just like good trail markers guide you through the wilderness, good service programs can guide you to better code. Who knows, maybe a Bigfoot probability calculator. Keep coding, keep hiking, and keep watching for Bigfoot. See you next time.